I've got to start with this. So he's working for free with DOGE. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold. And you sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know. And I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
He's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
You don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is. You know, the president has been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which resulted in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event. Yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It sped it up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you. I just want people to understand you a little bit better, and the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in. PayPal, and how you became involved in Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and all these.
Take a while. I mean, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist, and I try to make technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well, is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country, but then they don't get implemented. If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order, hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that even as late as last week. And so, you know, we went in there and we're like, hey, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. One of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing, because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media, they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, you know, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. No, they said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk. President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, it's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I get 98% bad publicity. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really see what's happening.
Yes.
What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him. I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff. He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, you know, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river and a vicious, like rapids. People were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, you know Elon Musk? They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah. He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
I have it.
Yeah, and he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get it. But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watched Tesla. I think, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby, you grab your baby. It just
hug the rocket.
I've never seen
everything needs a hug, including rockets.
And he said, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now, nobody else can do it. I wanted somebody really smart to work with me in terms of the country, a very important aspect. Because, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. You write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. As soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive and you sign it and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So
he gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done. Get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
It's beyond impressive. We're an early believer in Tesla. He became the CEO and then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing, which is unbelievable. You were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink
at some point. Yeah.
is in over.
They always ask me, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have what is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI arm. And then you have something that really fascinated me, and it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see, and people with spinal cord injuries that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that to becoming a success?
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's so we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible to actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be to add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons damaged, so that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored.
I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So we had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well, thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful. It's fair to say that the software engineers at DOGE could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as federal employees.
Okay, so
and they're very committed people.
So you're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
I used to be adored by the left,
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
Less so.
I really didn't know.
they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't, you don't realize how real this is until you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational. If the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented. And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people.
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when you look at what this man has done, and I respected what he did, and he fought hard. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made a better car where it's, beating these big companies that's all they do is cars? I mean, it's really amazing the things he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold, but I wanted great people. And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also a caring person. He uses the word care. So they signed a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years. Maybe paid to get the contract, or maybe paid that they didn't terminate it. But, we have contracts that go forever, and they've been going for years. And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something, and they go forever. So the guy is either crooked, where he knew this was going to happen, or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse, but fraud, waste, and abuse. And he's doing an amazing job. And he attracts a young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ. And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. There's a certain something. But he uses the word care. So people have to care.
Winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's an opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. It's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional. They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us. In order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher. Literally 50% higher. The president cared, the president was competent, the price was not 50% higher as a result. And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for the American people. If you add either ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal. And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring? I think the average taxpaying American should be mad as hell because their tax money is being poorly spent.
The taxpayer money was spent on a DEI musical in Ireland, or a transgender opera in Colombia, or a transgender comic book.
It sounds like how can these things be real? But this is actually what was done. It sounds like a comedy sketch or something.
I have 20 pages of this.
Right. It's not. It's a list a mile long.
I mean, I see this morning, I didn't know, but I said, do the right thing, where they're cutting way back on the electric vehicle subsidies.
Yes.
They're cutting back. Not only cutting back.
Hurt you.
Correct.
Yeah. Now,
you don't care.
I won't tell you.
Well,
he's probably not that happy with it, but that would have been one thing he would have come to me and said, listen, you got to do me a favor. This is crazy. But this was in the tax bill. They're cutting back on the subsidies. I wasn't involved in it. I said, do what's right, and they're coming up with a tax, but it's just preliminary. But I mean, if he were involved, wouldn't you think he'd probably do that? Now, maybe he does better if you cut back on the subsidies. Who knows? Because he figures he does think differently. He thinks he has a better product.
Yeah.
And as long as he has a level playing field, he doesn't care what you do, which is he's told me that.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't asked the president for anything ever.
I know every businessman. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the smart ones, the lucky ones. I know them. This guy's he's a brilliant guy. He's a great guy. He's got tremendous imagination and scientific imagination, far beyond, you keep talking about a technologist and all, but you're much more than a technologist. You are that. But he's also a good person. He's a very good person. And he wants to see the country do well. And I know a lot of great business people, really great business people, but they're not really, in some cases, very good people. And I know people that would try and take advantage of the situation. This guy's somebody that really cares for the country. And I saw that very early on. I saw it really a long time ago when I got to know him. He's a very different kind of a character. That's why, who loves him? Young people that are very smart and that love the country.
Folks, we definitely live in the best timeline. I've never seen Trump like that. The guy's so relaxed. He's having a laugh. I mean, occasionally Trump will get a bit of a smirk out, make a bit of a crack, but bro, the dude is having the time of his life. This is really amazing stuff to see. The ultimate bromance and a political revolution. Competence and caring back in the White House. What's good for the US, and believe me, this is great for Tesla. In fact, it's great for everyone who lives in the United States, at least legally, and every company operating in the US. It's also going to have global implications, setting the tone for much of the West. The irony here, the hate stream media and many on the political left have spent years, probably actually a decade plus, demonizing Trump. Orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man Hitler, Russia, the whole shit, right? Didn't work. The guy's back with a vengeance. And over the last few years, the political left has been going after Elon Musk as well. So too the hate stream media, who hate you, hate humanity, and also hate the fact that they're being massively disrupted by independent content creators on platforms such as X. Rest in fucking peace. And now, two of the most demonized, unfairly by the way, men on planet Earth, both just trying to do what they believe is in the best interest of the people, have formed an incredible alliance and are having the time of their lives, setting up a legacy that will have an enduring impact for decades to come. The left fucked around and they found out. And this bromance between Trump and Musk, it's like a wide-scale NPC detector. A test. This one interview tells you everything you need to know about these two men, their character, why they're doing what they're doing, where they're coming from. It opens with Sean Hannity bringing up the fact that X, formerly Twitter, just paid a $10 million settlement to Trump. Now, you'd think if Elon or Trump were petty, they wouldn't be laughing about this situation. What happened, of course, was Twitter, under previous leadership, probably leadership's not the right word, banned a sitting president of the United States. Not only that too, but the guy puts out a video telling people, stop being fucking retards, go home, don't be violent. They delete that as well. Absolutely ridiculous. A bunch of other social media companies as well. Trump rightfully files a lawsuit, and this is well before Elon Musk buys the company. We get a key insight into the character of both men here. They care about what's right. Elon didn't want any involvement in this settlement. The legal team, just figure it out, right? I bought a company that did something terrible in the past. I knew about this. Happy to pay the price. This is an insight into the values of both of these men. Trump was entitled to compensation, and just because Musk now owns X doesn't change that fact. Elon then, almost immediately out of the gates, points out in no uncertain terms, quote, "I love the president," goes on to explain that Trump is a good man. This, of course, is accurate, but not what the hate stream media and actually just about everybody with a platform has been saying about Orange Man bad for the last decade. And Elon has been subject to the exact same attacks and demonization, completely unfairly. And again, it's an NPC test. Some people have been so thoroughly programmed and are suffering such severe Trump derangement syndrome, which really is real. They genuinely believe this guy is coming from a bad place or a place of self-interest. And I don't know how to say this other than obnoxiously, but I also don't give a fuck about melting through snowflakes, so I'm happy to be obnoxious. You have to be retarded to not see that Trump is doing this, not for his own personal glory, not for money, not for fame, not for fortune, but because he believes he can have a positive effect on the United States. You'd be hard-pressed to find a single other human on the planet who, after 2 assassination attempts, wouldn't have just said, fuck this, it's not worth it, and pulled out of the race. Guy's been enduring attacks for the better part of a decade now, just trying to do the best. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with every decision he makes, or all of his policies, but how can you not understand that he's trying to do good here? The guy could be retired just playing golf 24/7, and chilling on a fucking beach. He's independently wealthy, got a great family and grandchildren. He doesn't need to be doing this, but he's seen an opportunity. Elon Musk has recognized that. He understands that Trump is truly coming from a good place. And these two men have something major in common. Both have been attacked relentlessly, demonized endlessly by the hate stream media, who are trying to paint them both as self-interested, evil, incompetent, dangerous, a racist, a Nazi, a misogynist. Pick your description. So they have something here in common to bond over. They no doubt recognize and respect their courage. They have similar values, and that's where this bond has really come from. The fact that these guys both make decisions through the lens of, is this going to be helpful? Am I doing the right thing? Will I get attacked for this? Will I get demonized for this? Yes, but who cares? Is it the right thing? Yes, well, I'll do it anyway. They're willing to take the arrows. Most people watching this couldn't say the same thing. It's much easier to just shut the fuck up, to not ruffle any feathers, also known as being a gigantic fucking pussy. So there's a lot of mutual respect here. And there was a very interesting moment here where Elon disclosed he was actually going to endorse President Trump prior to the assassination attempt, but that accelerated the timeline. Trump said, I didn't know that. And you saw a big smile come across his face as well. You can see that really meant something to him. Trump and Musk also acknowledging that they're well aware the media is trying to drive a wedge between them. And boy, oh boy, can you imagine how the hate stream media is going to react to seeing these two acting like bros closer than ever? It won't work, guys. They're both aligned. It's the same mission. It's not for their own self-interest or personal glory or power. It's because they both see a massive opportunity here to do a huge amount of good for the United States and the world. And not just over 4 years, not just during this term, but build the foundation for decades of prosperity, opportunity, and safety. There's also a healthy amount of banter between these two. Trump roasting Elon for his attire, his casual clothing. This is a really wonderful and genuine, deep friendship that's formed. Every guy watching this will understand this is the same kind of banter you have with your friends. The more the media and the machine tries to attack and drive these two apart, the closer they become. All in good fun, of course. Trump also joking around, I wanted to find somebody smarter than Elon, but I couldn't, so we had to settle for him. And one final note, just to wrap up here. After Trump was finished giving credit to Elon and Tesla for actually making an incredible product and somehow surviving a new automotive startup and actually out-competing some of the legacy companies. An interesting insight. Trump pointing out that he's just heard that they're going to be getting rid of EV subsidies, at least that's the plan. And he points out that, you'd think that Elon would be like, hey bro, can you not do that? It's going to hurt my company. But Trump points out, Musk didn't say shit about it. You know why? Because Elon doesn't give a shit. This is a small detail. He cares about doing what's right for the American people. And what's right is not wasting taxpayer money subsidizing companies who can't produce a competitive product and sell them to consumers for a profit. Certainly over the short term, EV incentives go away. Doesn't help Tesla, but over the long term, and actually Trump pointed this out, maybe it does help him actually. He does have a better product. Maybe he thinks if the subsidies go away and there's a level playing field, it will actually help him over the long term. So the narrative the media is currently trying to portray is Elon is involved in the Department of Government Efficiency for his own personal gain or for the gain of his companies. If the strongest data point we have that refutes this is the fact that Elon has not once asked Trump for anything. And in particular, hey bro, could you maybe not get rid of those massive EV incentives that are helping consumers to afford our vehicles a little bit more? That'd be really nice. Both guys here just trying to do good. As a result, the hate stream media, the swamp, the Washington machine, the attacks are going to continue to become increasingly more outrageous. And there's a second factor here too, which I mentioned earlier. The legacy media is collapsing. And as they collapse due to independent content creators and platforms like X enabling such content creators, they have a double incentive to go after Elon and discredit him and X. But it's not going to work. Over the short term, yes, there'll be some NPCs who are easily manipulated. And some of the things I've seen people say who previously I thought were relatively intelligent, independent thinkers, it truly boggles the mind. But these two men are both competent and they care. This is huge. And as I've said many times, what's good for the United States is also good for Tesla. Not directly, but indirectly. A rising tide lifts all boats. And bro, this is the biggest fucking rising tide in decades. Make no mistake, the US will enter a golden age of safety, opportunity, and prosperity. Everyone will benefit. But that's not the narrative you're going to hear from the mainstream media. And just finally, I have to say, isn't it so nice? After 4 years of hate, of attacks, of a weaponized justice system, going after Elon Musk and his companies, insinuation, snubbing them at the electric vehicle summit, falsely stealing Tesla's valor and crediting GM with pioneering electric vehicles and forcing the whole industry to shift towards EVs, isn't it so nice to have a president of the United States of America willing to acknowledge what Elon's companies have done, willing to acknowledge their positive impact, willing to simply give credit where credit is due. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, or I can keep going. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, these are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.